Hello, and welcome to another edition of Sutton Impact Family Style. I'm Jason.
And I'm Bill. Welcome. Glad to have you this week.
Yes, indeed. Do you want to start us out with a business moment, or do you want to go right into some other stuff?
Well, let's talk about our business moment is really the Adidas scandal, I think.
Okay.
So let's start talking about that. I mean, so it's really not newsworthy. I mean, it's been going on for forever. But the fact that the FBI's been involved in this and really has, built up an unbelievable case against Patino, who, look how many bullets Patino has dodged over the years. I mean, this is kind of like OJ. If they didn't get him for everything else, they're going to get him for this and make this the worst thing ever. So,
Oh, yeah.
we'll see. But I guarantee you, you know what? In 2 years, if you don't have to show cause, somebody will hire him again.
Right.
It just is what it is. But you've got guys paying and doing this financial advisor thing and steering people, but the shoe companies, ever since the AAU got powerful, the shoe companies have always been steering players to their AAU teams in the first place, and then taking them from their AAU teams to colleges that were also their sponsors. So it just kind of, we figured out now, they're getting paid to do that, or that's become public now, but it's always gone on.
Right. I mean, I've seen, on the one hand, a lot of people are sort of feel like this has been going on forever, and they're upset that the government wasted any money on this at all, looking into something that everybody knew existed. And I still don't see how.
What's probably going to happen is some guys now are going to be ineligible, and so again, the athletes are going to get screwed.
Right.
And probably a bunch of assistant coaches are going to get fired as the Teflon on the head coaches, with the exception of Patino, deflects. I mean, you got to think that North Carolina has had people. You got to think that Duke has had people. You've got to think that UCLA's had people. I mean, it just makes sense. It depends on how far this is going to go. They've already subpoenaed the records for the Nike youth basketball program, which has got to be insane how that's gone. So,
right. And again, this is almost sort of like, I don't know, when they talk about like how you're never going to stop prostitution, it almost seems the same thing, where like you'll get these people right here, but this is not going to stop. I mean, it's too much money. It's billions of dollars going to the NCAA. The shoe companies make a ton of money off basketball. Like, they're going to find, they've always found a way, and they're always going to find a way. And
yeah,
I feel like,
no question, that's what's going to happen.
And I feel like it slips. I mean, there's been so many times where you listen to like a former NBA player or a current NBA player, and they're getting very real, and they'll dance around the subject of whether or not they got benefits. But it almost always seems like it comes up with everybody. Like, some of them flat out said that they have. I mean, I think there's that they don't want to get their school in trouble. They don't want to hurt the people that have come up behind them. But they almost all sort of hint that it's just what happens. And
yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
And again, I mean, all you're going to do is you're going to punish a few kids now.
We'll have to see.
A few coaches lose their jobs. But in the end, you don't stop it. They'll just find another way to continue. And I don't know. I mean, again, it does bring to light again all the money that's being made from this, and all the money the NCAA generates is through the tournament and everything else. And the players are still not compensated, despite the fact that they're the ones who are bringing in all. I mean, really technically bringing in all the money. And
yeah, so they're trying to get any money any way they can. This is the way they've gotten money in the past.
Right.
Boosters and shoes.
Exactly. And again, if it's
let's
always
transition from this, then we'll watch this story, and we'll probably have some more to talk about next week. My bowl moment is: did you see the line of people at the Laker game in line to get LeVar Ball's autograph?
Oh, I saw.
Yeah. So people love celebrity, whether it's good celebrity or bad celebrity.
I know. Well, we live in a world where
wherever OJ ends up, there'll be always a line of people waiting to get OJ's autograph.
Well, everybody is desperate for likes and retweets and a picture with LeVar Ball or a picture with OJ or.
Yeah, and OJ's going to figure out how to make money off of being notorious, so I can count on it. That's going to happen, and it already started off because the Attorney General of Florida has said we don't want OJ.
Oh yeah. I mean, legally, they can't do anything to keep him out.
Yeah, they're just asking that he's not assigned to a parole officer here in Florida, so I don't know. We'll see.
It's a crazy, crazy world. But I guess switching to...
But let's talk about my favorite NBA team, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
So Russ signed a 5-year extension for the highest amount of money anybody's ever made in the NBA, which I think is great, and it just makes me so excited that he's staying in Oklahoma City. Even though they're going to be $9 bazillion over the cap. But I love the idea of Russ staying for his whole career in Oklahoma City, and I think it's a great message that we're sending out to. I mean, Oklahoma City's not. I mean, I love Oklahoma City, but it's not, where a player is going to envision as a really cool place to be. It's not South Beach. It's not L.A. It's not New York. But I find it really interesting that I think they have the third highest salary now in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Cleveland, Golden State, and Oklahoma City.
Well, they put all their chips in this year. And
they did put all their chips in.
And I thought that was, like I said, I thought they gave up very little to get those players like we discussed last week. And it was an absolutely, I think they're a contender regardless of injuries to any other team. I mean, obviously there's a juggernaut in the Bay that's, just loaded. But I think Oklahoma City has a puncher's chance, they say. More so than Houston at this point.
I tell you what, the basketball season got a lot more interesting than it was a month ago.
I know. I keep saying it every week. Like, as much as I love the NFL, every week we get on this podcast to talk sports, and I think, NBA is the first thing I want to talk about. They've done an amazing...
we talked about the NBA probably every show.
I know. Well, sort of staying with the criticism of Oklahoma City from players, I don't think we really discussed Kevin Durant and his bizarre fake Twitter accounts that he has, which were just insane. Like, he went and he threw Oklahoma City, he threw Billy Donovan under the bus from a fake Twitter account. That when he forgot to log back into his new Twitter account and started, tweeting as Kevin Durant, as just the, fake Twitter person that defends Kevin Durant, he got caught. He got blown out. It's, I don't know.
Well, I'm just not a big KD fan.
No, and I
just think KD's all about KD, and you got to be. You played great in Oklahoma City. You decide to make a move. Be gracious and forget about it. You don't have to take shots at that.
No, and what are you spending your time arguing with people on Twitter as a fake person, defending your leaving of Oklahoma City? And again, your teammates went to war with you every week, and you throw them under the bus being like, well, he had to leave. All he had was Russ there. And that coach, Billy Donovan, wasn't any good. Oklahoma City's and it's just bizarre. That's how he spends his time.
I know. And on top of that, what do you think about Russ signing his contract on KD's birthday? You think that was deliberate?
I think there was something to it. I mean, it's certainly not just a coincidence, I don't think. I think there was something to that. I mean, Russ has obviously been preaching loyalty from day one. So I'm sure, when he decided he was going to sign it and it happened to be around that time, I'm sure that became the day to announce it. I mean, I don't know if it was just random, like somebody's like, well, they were going to sign it. They're like,
well, I give props for doing it, then.
Yeah.
It's a great way to send a message and celebrate yourself at the same time.
Right. And like I said, I'm still a little bit in shock. I thought at the very least he would play the year out. And, I was sort of buying into all the LA type talk that, he, Paul George, who were obviously clearly friends, were going to go meet up with LeBron and form a super team in LA to take down the Warriors with the Ball family. That's what I thought was coming, and it's nice to see that it's not.
I'm happy that it's not.
Yeah.
How about the crazy day in the NFL today, though?
Well, again, just to start off with the best news, the Patriots lost to the Panthers today.
Yes, they did, and they lost at the end of the game.
I know, with another quarterback coming down and leaving a drive at the end. And the other thing I liked about that game is there was a lot of sort of not anti-Cam Newton talk, but, there was some negative talk about Cam Newton and was he done? And he came out and just played fantastic. And I'm not a Carolina fan by any stretch, but it's nice to see them looking like they're maybe regaining the form they had a couple years ago. If this means anything at all.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, a lot of things. The Buffalo Bills winning today, knocking off Atlanta.
In Buffalo, if Zay Jones doesn't drop a pass, they're 4-0 right now. You have a quarterback that they don't seem.
I think maybe we've some very interesting parity today. I think we have.
Very. Houston just absolutely destroyed Tennessee.
And as I told you before, the talking heads were all over why that would never happen.
Why that would never happen. Again, Deshaun Watson is one of those players who doesn't play for my favorite team, but I really liked him in college. I mean, you never know anybody, so I don't want to say I'm a huge fan of someone I don't know, but all the stuff I've read from him and his interviews, I really like him, and it's nice to see him just sort of picking up where he left off. I mean, his coach said, if you pass on Deshaun Watson, you are passing on Michael Jordan. And he almost led them to beat the Patriots last week. He had put up 5 touchdowns today. And that's a team with a lot of talent that's just been lacking a quarterback. And,
a lot of talent.
A lot of talent. And I know he's, it's a couple of games and he's a rookie and there's a rookie wall and, teams will try to figure him out. But I think they were already somewhat interesting as a playoff team just because of their defense and everything else. And if he can be, on par with what Dak Prescott was a year ago, what Roethlisberger was in his rookie year, I mean, they're a dangerous team, especially as we talked about, because right now the Chiefs have a lone undefeated team, and everybody else looks really vulnerable.
Well, I hope 2 weeks from now the Chiefs aren't the only undefeated. I think we have no undefeated teams.
I hope so as well, obviously, being a Steeler fan, but, I mean,
it's perfect week for me. Oklahoma State wins. South Florida wins. Steelers win. Ravens lose. Patriots lose. Cowboys lose. What a combination.
And again, the team that nobody thought was going to be any good, and the much beleaguered Jared Goff. I don't know why I call him Jeff. I was thinking Jeff Fisher, the coach from last year, who was a terrible coach.
The Rams surprised. The Rams are 3-1, right?
The Rams are 3-1, and their offense is moving the football, and they're doing it through the air with him. And as bad as he looked last year under Jeff Fisher, I mean, it is the NFL, and
well, you got a quarterback whisperer, and I guess he's as good as they say he is.
Yeah, and he's also another one of those coaches. Like again, we knock them a lot, but Bill Belichick is one of those coaches that figures out what it is you do well, and he finds a way to put you in a position to do that.
Yeah,
he doesn't make you out of your comfort zone, and I think Sean McVay out there seems to be doing the same thing. Like, he figures out what can Jared Goff do, and I'm going to make sure that that's what he's doing. And it works.
Well, obviously in college football, Alabama and Clemson are going to run away with everything.
They are. And on a somber note to the NFL, real quick, you saw the Boston Medical University saying that they believe they're going to have a test for living subjects within 5 years that'll identify CTE. So, from a medical standpoint, you can go get a test, in high school, in college, they can tell if you have CTE. They think they're like within 5 years from now. And you wonder what's going to happen to the NFL moving forward if that's the case. If you can identify CTE in rookies and draft prospects, high school players.
Yeah. You wonder 2 things. One, if you can identify it, and 2, is there anything you can do to reverse it? Is there anything you can do to stop it? And
right.
That's got to be the other area of hopefulness.
It's true.
Just identifying it's not enough.
No, but if you identify it, obviously that's going to affect the kind of player you draft, and it's going to affect their future. Like, if you've had some CTE syndromes from high school, that's probably going to be the end of your career. And
yeah, you might not get attention, or you might not take it. That's right.
And maybe you'd be smart enough just to walk away at that point if you already have some of that stuff early on, as opposed to just making it worse.
Yeah, ongoing thing. How do you think they handled the anthem today?
I think we discussed it a few shows ago, and it seems like it's, once again, it's a complicated issue.
Very complicated.
And unfortunately, it's been turned into you either love the troops or you hate the troops, which is nothing that was intended. And
when I watched the Ravens get booed today in their home stadium for taking a knee, not during the anthem, but before the anthem.
I know.
And then I saw all the Steeler fans talking about burning their season tickets and burning their jerseys, and that's unfathomable to me. So we're just really, it's a very, very raw nerve right now.
Right. And again,
but I thought they handled it well. I thought coming out, standing for the anthem, and doing the protest beforehand is fine. I think you gotta let it go. Grow up.
And again, because the Cowboys did that the other day, and I've heard people, say that Jerry Jones was a phony for doing what he did, but I thought the Cowboys were a great example last week. And again, we don't like the Cowboys, but they all came out together. They held the knee. They stood arm to arm during the national anthem, and they still got booed for that.
Well, I like the Cowboys a lot better than I ever have, because the Patriots just fill all my hate.
Right.
So I'm okay with the Cowboys, but the Patriots.
But like you said, if they're just,
I watched This Is Us this week, which I'm big on that show, and they happen to be part of the storyline is they're Steeler fans, and so everybody's been asking me, well, you only like it because they're Steeler fans, and I tweeted out, I would like the show even if they weren't Steeler fans, unless they were Patriot fans, and then I probably wouldn't watch it.
Yeah. Maybe the writers of the show knew that. Like, the Patriots are just too... Yeah. Again, back to the anthem, I don't know what the right thing to do was, but we have, a lot of injustice in this country, and it was nice to see athletes using their platform to attempt to point some of those out, and I think it's really, really sad that just met with boos, and people don't want to think of it. I know everybody has problems, but collectively we have a lot wrong, and it's not disrespectful to want to point those things out. It's, the same reason you admired athletes in the first place for being the first in the gym, last one out, always trying to get better, is the same reason it's the same standard you should apply to this country, that we should constantly be trying to better ourselves, especially when we have, when we know things and we have access and we can do things about it, but it just gets buried in, gibberage, whatever this is, just, pride and no pride. And it's just really sad. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very sad.
But
very sad.
I'm still going to keep watching.
I got a double food moment.
Double food moment.
So, when I was in Kansas City last week, I went to my barbecue places. I went to Kansas City Joe's, which used to be Oklahoma Joe's, and that was outstanding. And then right before I left, I went to Jack Stack's and had burnt ends and cheesy corn and baked beans, and that was outstanding. But my memorable thing was going to a place called Grinders. And Grinders, the guy I was with had a big-ass burger, and I showed you a picture of it. It was over a pound.
Yeah.
It was like 2 half-pound burger patties. It was just the burger with bacon, cheese. It was just amazing. And I had a Philly cheesesteak with cheesy tater tots, and that was amazing. So Grinders in Kansas City is my restaurant to pick. Just a kind of a cool little sandwich place.
And again,
so if you go and you eat barbecue for a couple of days and you want something else, go to Grinders.
And
now,
here's my
surprise. I'm a big fan of Gold Belly on the internet.
Yes.
So I bought a chocolate cheesecake that was made by the nuns of New Skate, New York. And I got to tell you, Jason, it was probably the best chocolate cheesecake I've ever had, and your mother agrees with me.
Wow.
Absolutely outstanding. Moist, flavorful, really, really good.
Graham cracker crust?
Gold Belly, the nuns of New Skate, chocolate cheesecake. Outstanding.
See. And back to that picture of the burger you showed me. I've seen a lot of, the giant burgers. And this burger looked like and sometimes I feel like they sacrifice
quality for size.
Right. And this looked like a just delicious burger.
And my man ate half the burger and didn't even think about eating the other half.
Well,
and we each had a half order of cheesy tater tots. And a half order cheesy tater tots is a lot of cheesy tater tots.
Very nice.
It was outstanding. So what are you looking forward to?
I'm sort of looking forward to some shows coming back right now. The Good Place was a show that with Ted Danson I watched last year.
Yep.
I really, really liked it. It sort of was one of those shows I wasn't planning. I just threw on randomly, and it's really, really worth watching. It's Ted Danson, Kristen Bell. The first season is on Hulu, and I think it's also on Netflix. It's only 10 episodes, and I don't want to say anything about the plot because once you start watching, you'll sort of see where it's at. But it's really funny and it's well done, and it's left in a way that you can't wait to get back to it. So, and this week we also have the return of another show that Ted Danson appears on. It's the Ted Danson moment. Curb Your Enthusiasm is coming back tonight, and as a Seinfeld fan and obviously a big Larry David fan, I really enjoyed Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm excited to see it, and I'm hoping Ted Danson will also be on this year. Why not?
Awesome, and I've continued to watch Mr. Mercedes on Audience on DirecTV, which is probably also going to be available on Hulu or Netflix or somewhere. But it's been outstanding, and we're down to the last 2 episodes, so I've loved watching that. Talked about already the second season of This Is Us, and that was pretty incredible.
And back to our Stephen King talk. Gerald's Game, a Netflix original Stephen King film, is getting rave reviews right now. So maybe check that out too, because it's
And I just ordered a book that I think you might be interested in.
What is
Scientology Murders.
Oh.
Written by a Tampa author, and his character is referred to as the Dead Detective. And when I read the review, the Dead Detective, his mother was a religious fanatic, tried to send him and his brother to the afterlife by leaving them in a car in a locked garage with a motor running. And his brother died, and he was rescued. But he's come back from the dead, and he can hear whispers. And so I bought it to find out about the Scientology murders. So if it's good, I will pass it along to you.
It sounds very interesting. Yeah. And again, I know we talked a little down about football, but I'm still very into the NFL, just so that wasn't clear. I haven't lost.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what the TV ratings were after the games today, because the games today were really interesting.
Right, and I know
I'm watching the Buccaneers and the Giants now, and I'm going to make this comment. It's disgusting to me that when I was watching this game, Eli Manning ran in for a touchdown, and the roar of the crowd was so loud. Your mother asked me if she thought the game was in Tampa, and I said it was.
Wow.
And I just don't understand why the Florida teams don't get the support that they should have. It just really drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You live here. This is your home. You need to become a
fan. I suppose. But if you come from somewhere where it's deep within you, you're never going to like any other teams over the Steelers, no matter how long you live in Tampa. So.
No, I like the other teams, though. I wouldn't root against them.
Right. Yeah, they're not playing the Steelers, and it's good to support the local team. And especially the Bucs. I mean, they've won a Super Bowl. They've got a decent history. They have cool throwback jerseys. And, they've got an exciting young team right now. You should get behind them, I suppose, if you're in Tampa.
Yeah. And, USF, the Bulls football is just amazing. I mean, this Quentin Flowers is amazing. And they get no support at all. They didn't even have 30,000 at the game, the last home game.
It's sad.
It's really, really upsetting to me, because all these people got to be Gator fans or Seminole fans, and a lot of them didn't even go to school there, and a lot of them went to USF. And I just find that really troubling.
Yeah. Huh.
And then our newspaper doesn't even cover them on the front page after they win a big game. So it's crazy. Well, enough whining today. I've been a little whiny today.
It happens. It's fine. It was only towards the end.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week with baseball playoffs. I'm sure something else crazy will happen in the NBA because it's just on a roll.
Well, speaking of baseball playoffs, I'm rooting for the Astros and the Nationals, 2 teams that have never won a World Series.
Those are good teams to root for. I'm rooting against, obviously, the Red Sox, Yankee, all those sort of combos.
I'm rooting for. I would love to see the Astros or the Nationals win and be good. And I think, a real soft spot for Houston after the flood and everything. I'd love to see the Astros win.
I think that's a great reason to root for them right there. And in the National League, I'm sort of pulling for the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers have a great fan base, and especially for LA, I think that's really tough. And even though they're a giant market and they spend a lot of money, I mean, I like teams that have long, loyal fans. I mean, I think Dodger fans are pretty knowledgeable and they love their baseball. I'm not saying other teams don't, but I don't know. That's what I'm playing for in the National League.
Well, this is Bill Sutton.
And Jason Sutton.
And we'll see you down the road. We'll look forward to talking with you next week. Please send us questions. Please follow us on Twitter. Please follow us on Patreon and listen to us on iTunes.
And rate us on iTunes, please.
A shout out to Ryan Vandeman, who I had seen in 10 years, and I had dinner with him the other night in Kansas City, and he complimented us on the show.
Awesome. It's good to hear new listeners from time to time.
Absolutely.
Tell your friends. It's not that long of a commitment. It's only half hour each week, and we like to think we bring something to the table, so let them know. And until next week, thank you.